To you from heaven. Just kidding. Heaven has way more shoes than this, but all my babies. I got them all nice and organized, and I love my closet. I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. There are like, oh my gosh, I found this shoe store the other day in downtown in the fashion district in Miami, and all the shoes are $6. Do you see these fucking kicks? $6. $6. $6, you guys. Like, how fucking cute are these shoes? And they were only $6. But anyways, that is not what this video is about. This video is about chokers. I love this. But yeah, here is the first choker that we are going to make today. And here is the second one. And yes, I am holding it. I cannot get the clasp for the life of me with my nails. I made it with the nails, but somebody else has to buckle it for me, because to keep it this tight on my neck, like, I just can't do it. But I love this. This I actually removed off of a top. So this top here, stuck in my hair. So this top here had this sewn right here on it, and I was like, I never wear the freaking top. I mean, and this choker trend is like so big right now. I love it. I love chokers. I always loved chokers when I was a kid. And now that they're in style, I'm like, yes, rock it. So I removed this off here, but you could get, it's just like chain. You could get this probably at a craft store, or I don't know, Joann's, somewhere that sells trim. And this piece is a piece of trim that came from a craft store. I guess it's like a craft store. It's like a trim store. I live in the city in Miami, so we have a fabric district. And if you're in Miami, I will leave, or if you ever get to Miami, I will leave the info for the place that I got this from below. The fashion district, I got this from La Casa de las Viejas, which means house of the old ladies. But they have all kinds of trim and really good stuff. And I paid $10 for this. It was like a scrap. So if you were to buy this off of the like roll that it comes on, I guess it would probably be a lot more. Look at me with my like 2 shirts. I look crazy. That's okay, because I am. Anyways, since I'm always voicing over, you may not know, but you just might know. If you're following me on Instagram, you probably know by now that I'm crazy. If you're following me on Snapchat, you definitely know that I'm crazy. But anyways, let's get started with the tutorials. Bling is life. Like, anything that's obnoxiously sparkly is for me. Like, look at these. How could you leave something like this in the store, though? I was like, no. These are too sparkly not to come home with me. Love these fucking shoes. Excuse my language today. What has gotten into me today? Such a foul mouth. Let's get started with the tutorial. So you're gonna need some sort of clasps, some jump rings, and whatever trim you want to use. This chain, I took off that top, so I'm just going to be using this, but you can probably find something similar to it at a craft store, and you'll also need a pair of pliers. I'm going to start by opening the jump rings and putting them around the ends of the trim. So I'm going to put a jump ring on either end. And make sure you close your rings nice and tight. Now, these rings didn't have much room left over for me to put the clasp, so I put another ring through that, and I'm going to attach the clasp to that.
course, you're going to want to do that on both sides. Then I'm putting a jump ring on the clasp, and I'm going to hook that to our rings. And I decided to put 2 rings just because the actual rhinestone chain itself was a little bit short for my neck. So once that's done, it should look something like this. And on the other side, you're going to do the exact same thing minus the clasps. And then you can simply hook the clasps onto those jump rings. And it's as simple as that. This project was so easy and it came out super cute. So the next choker I'm so in love with. So this mesh fabric is going to be the background for my choker, and I'm going to lay my piece of trim down on it, and then I'm going to cut out a piece of it, and I'm going to leave a little excess on the ends because I want to sew my snaps to the ends. I got to put a closure on it. So I'm just cutting it so it sits directly behind the applique. And this is a lycra, so it's stretchy. You can get this at like Joann's or any fabric store. So you can see I've left a couple inches on either side of the trim. Then I'm going to flip the trim over and lay the backing on top. And I'm going to take some straight pins and just pin it into place. Now I'm taking a flesh colored thread and a thin needle, and I'm going to sew the two together. And this was pretty simple because it's beaded. The beads will kind of hide any imperfections in the sewing. So I'm honestly just going under the back and then going back through the top. So it's in the back and then I'm coming around the top. And just make sure that that thread falls okay and doesn't get stuck on any of your beads. And it really doesn't need to be neat at all. So I'm not going to bore you with endless sewing, but when you get ready to tie it off, you can just take a tiny little bite of the fabric, and I'm going into what's under it as well for some stabilization, and then you're going to thread your needle back through that loop. And you can do that a couple times, and I recommend don't try and sew it all with one piece of thread. Like, do this maybe 2 or 3 times. I think I used 2 threads, so there was like 2 knots in the choker itself. So this is what the back of my choker looked like once everything was sewn on. So I folded my fabric over and pinned it just so I could have a little more stabilization. And then I'm going to sew the snap onto, one side will be on the front and the other side will be on the back, if you get what I mean. So they connect, make sure that the way you lay them, they snap together. And sewing the snap-on is super easy. Same way you sewed the applique to the fabric, you're just going to go from the front to the back. So just making sure that you are going around and catching the sides of the snap in the loop. And you can tie the snap on the same way that we tied the knot on the choker. So since the other end has that little like woven thing on the end, I'm going to use that as the stabilization. Make sure that you measure your neck or else this is not going to fit you. It needs to be the exact measurements for your neck. So make sure you measure your neck and your fabric first. And I'm just sewing the other side of the snaps. I'm going to sew them both the same way. And of course, I didn't film the actual finished product. I really thought I did, but you guys get it. Just make sure you sew your snaps on the right way. But anyways, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope that you're able to recreate it yourself. If you do, tag me on Instagram. My Instagram is linked in the bio below. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will be doing more DIYs soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.